Hey, marketing class. It is Monday, April 3rd. You have a sub today, so I've recorded our lecture for an assignment that we're going to be doing in class today. So you have two things you need to do. First thing is we're going to go through and take a look at this introduction to promotion presentation, and you'll find that in the new promotional unit. The second thing you're going to do is take this quiz, so we'll get to that. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is starting a new unit on promotion. And when we think about promotion, promotion is one part of the marketing mix, or one part of the 5 Ps, so price, product, people, place, and promotion. So let's go through the basics of promotion, and so you understand the promotional mix, the different parts of that, and some examples. So the main purpose of promotion. The main purpose of promotion is for businesses to use it to convince potential customers to buy from it instead of a competitor. It's that simple. You're basically telling the customer what to do. Buy from us, not from them. Okay? This is the promotional mix, the marketing mix. We've talked about this before. This is a little bit different than the example that what I've given, but has a lot of the same elements. And promotion has its own promotional mix. The promotional mix consists of 4 parts, okay, and we're going to break these down then. So the first part is advertising, and we'll give you some examples of that. Publicity, sales promotions, and then personal selling. Personal selling is sales. We've already covered that unit, so we won't spend much time on that. All right, so what is advertising? When we think of advertising, advertising is non-personal presentation of ideas, goods, and services by an identified sponsor. So this is going to include billboards, TV commercials, YouTube videos, social media promotion, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Pinterest or Snapchat stories or any of the other things. If it's done by a company to convince you to buy their product, that is advertising. It may also include some very famous things like Super Bowl commercials or events on the radio, but it's basically anything that's paid for and put out there to convince you to buy their products or to bring awareness to their business. Okay? Publicity. Publicity is non-personal presentation of goods and services by an identified sponsor. So when we talk about publicity, publicity is things that are in the news about the company. So there may be if a company got into trouble for doing something bad, and the news picks up on it and runs it as a story, that is bad publicity. If the company does something good, maybe gives a donation away or helps a cause or makes helps out with people or whatever the case may be, if they do something good and the news picks up on it and says, hey, this is an example of a company doing good, that's positive publicity. Sometimes publicity can be organized by that company as well, and through a press release with hopes of that company or with the news picking up on it. I'll give you some examples of that in a little bit. A sales promotion. These are things like displays in the store. So if you're at the grocery store and you see those big cardboard cutout displays at the end of aisles, or coupons, premiums, or discounts, contests like Monopoly at McDonald's, or any other contests to win things as a part of a promotion. Sign up at this company to have a chance to win this, and in the meantime, of course, they get all of your demographic information of your name and phone number and all sorts of other things. Point of purchase displays, those are POPs, point of purchase displays. Anything that they can do to stimulate purchases or get information from you is a sales promotion. I get texts from QuikTrip that basically say, hey, come on and stop in today for a free cookie, or stop in for $1 off gasoline. That is a sales promotion when they do that. So those are all examples of things you might see with that. And then the last one is personal selling. So we've already talked about this in depth. You did your sales projects, but that does technically fall under the sales unit. So personal selling is sales. It's when one customer talks to a salesperson face to face. So you go to Holiday Auto, you talk to a salesperson. You go to Best Buy, you talk to a salesperson. You go to Verizon store or AT&T and you talk to a salesperson. Face to face communication, that is personal selling. All right, so let's give you a couple examples of some negative and positive publicity. First one's a pretty famous one. Volkswagen is in a lot of trouble because they made false claims about their gas emissions and their exhaust emissions and I think their how many miles per gallon they get as well. But in any event, they made false claims about it, what it does. They got caught doing it, lying about it, and now they're paying billions and billions of dollars to cover that up. The news picked this up, so this is in the New York Times, and they're talking about just the fact that they have to pay 10 states over $157 million to just those 10 states alone. There will be more, so they're in quite a bit in the news. Uber. If you don't know what Uber is an app that you can call for basically ride sharing. It's basically the ride share version of taxis. They are in a lot of trouble right now because of some PR nightmares happening within their company. There was a delete Uber movement on Twitter that went through, hashtag delete Uber. The company is in trouble right now because of sexism within their organization, chaotic environment, some things that happen with politics and related with that. And actually their CEO just recently stepped down because of all this. So bad publicity for Uber. Another one, AT&T and Verizon and a couple other companies have just left Google and YouTube. And this is how Google makes the majority of their money over the advertising. And what was happening is that in YouTube videos, there was some ads that were popping up that were related to extremism, terrorist groups, very right-wing or left-wing sort of messages, bad stuff. So that was showing up in their content. And as a result, a lot of companies are saying, you know what, we're not going to do business with you. We're not going to advertise on your company with your company anymore, and they're losing millions of dollars as a result. Pretty sure Google will bounce back from this. This has happened before. Amazon was under fire for this quite a while as well. And they'll do fine, but for the temporary or the time being, it's bad publicity. Some good publicity examples. Tom Shoes. If you're not familiar with Tom Shoes, when you buy a pair of Tom Shoes, they donate a pair of shoes to third world countries, needy folks, needy kids that also get a pair of shoes as well. So there's a whole, I just searched Tom's Shoes, and then under the news, there's all sorts of different examples of what they're doing, of how they're protecting and doing positive things. Tom Shoes is not paying for this. The news basically just picks up on this and says, hey, this is good things. Here's some nice things that are happening. Patagonia, which we talk a lot about in class as well.
There's the Wildcats Till We Die Weekenders.
And there's an ad.
The Watch Me.
Close this. In any event, on Black Friday, the busiest shopping day of the year, they sold $10 million worth of merchandise, and they donated all of their profits to environmental causes. It's nothing that they have to do. They just decided to do it. So they donated all of their profits from that one day of sales. And there was a lot of publicity around that before and after that Patagonia sent out, and news organizations picked up on it because they're very pro-environment. A lot of that content got shared, and as a result, more people bought on that day. So all of that money goes to environmental causes. So that's pretty cool. So those are some positive and negative publicities. There's lots of other ones that are out there. Sometimes there's examples where a company will organize it ahead of time for publicity. So one of the organizations that I work with, let me see if I can find it. So one of the organizations that I'm involved with is the Boys and Girls Brigade in Neenah. It's a youth organization. They were just on Thursday the 30th on Fox 11 News in the morning. The Fox 11 News was basically there for the morning and said, hey, what are you guys about? What's your story? What's new with Brigade and Nina? What do you do? The organization reached out to Fox 11 and said, hey, this is a nice story about what we do. And they said, yeah, it is. So they came in, they talked about the organization, they gave it some positive publicity, none of which was paid for. It was basically something that the Fox 11 News saw as newsworthy. So that was kind of cool, in which case, but it was still organized by the brigade. They sought out for it, and the news picked up on it, and they said, yep, we agree. Let's do some content on that. So when we talk about advertising versus publicity, advertising is not free. It's paid for. So if there's an advertisement on Facebook, or if there's an advertisement in the newspaper or on TV, a commercial, some of the commercials that we ran for my business in the past, we'd spend $4,000 a month just to have our commercials on TV. Those are all paid for. But if there's something in the news and it's publicity, that is typically free. The difference is that you can't control publicity. You can control advertising, okay? So if there's some bad news about it, you just gotta roll with it. If there's some good news, you sort of maximize that and share it and do good things with it. Advertising, you have complete control over it because you're paying for it. Let's talk a little bit about sales promotions. So some differences between some options for sales promotions. Those may include displays, they may include premiums, they may include contests, sweepstakes, rebates. So like Menards does rebates all the time. So you go and you spend a bunch of money on lumber and then you get an 11% rebate for in-store credit that you can buy more stuff with. And then product samples. I'm sure that you guys use product sample. You get product samples all the time. Once you guys turn 18, you probably get a lot of product samples from companies that are, hey, you're an adult now, so here's a razor or deodorant and whatever else you guys can use. You'll get those in the mail. You may have gotten shampoo samples in the mail, things like that. Personal selling, a little bit about that. So personal selling is, again, it's sales. It's personal. Whereas advertising, sales promotions, and publicity is not. There's no face-to-face individual communication with that. You're not directly talking to the customer in advertising, sales, promotion, publicity. But with personal selling, you're talking directly with that customer. So what is the promotional mix? It's those four things: advertising, publicity, personal selling, and sales promotions. The thing is that businesses don't put all their eggs in one basket. When we promote, we do a little bit of everything. So there may be advertisements and ads that are put out on TV or in papers or in magazines. There might be social media advertisements. There may be some contests and sweepstakes that go along with it that are promoting for. There may be some publicity that happens with that. And then, of course, there may be some personal selling that happens on the spot as well. Businesses will do all of that together. They're not just going to put together a commercial and say, let's just do this, see how it goes. They're going to do all of it, and they're going to do it, and they're going to try to hit you as a customer from all different angles. So when you turn on the TV, they're there. When you turn on the, go to your smartphone and you open up social media, they're there. When you look at magazines and newspapers, they're there. When you have an option for, when you go to the store, you'll see the results of that. So they want to be able to hit you from all those different angles. Okay, now the next thing I want you to do is go back to Haiku, and you'll see this next thing here. It's called the Introduction to Promotion Quiz. That's the second one posted there. Take this quiz. Okay, so watch the lecture and then take this quiz. There's some questions here that you'll be able to go through, and when you're done, hit submit, and then that will be it for today. Check your grades. There are some things that are not done from certain people, so those are overdue. I have to report grades on Wednesday, so if you're missing the test for pricing, if you've got other missing work, I need to get grades reported by Wednesday, so get them in ASAP. Send me an email if you have any questions. All right, thanks.